ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers, where we're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers and our awesome, energetic, really amazing flower mama, your flower dealer guest today. Local flower. She's a flower dealer regardless. Awesome, amazing guest is none other than Christine Guenther of Wildflower, Stem and Sundry. Is it Sundry or Sundry?
It's Sundry.
Right. Look at this.
You
I'm
forgot
on a roll today.
You forgot Fatty Light. She's a fatty.
She is a fatty.
I'm like a next gen fatty. I've been a fatty since maybe like episode 100.
Okay,
So.
That's a great
that was
episode.
the video
that
episode.
was a great episode.
That was a good one to get started.
I met Joey before I met Christine because we were talking about, he said something, have you heard of this podcast? And I was like, yes, at SAF. And then I found out they were real fatties.
At least one of us.
Yeah.
He's a fatty. If we're on a road trip, he will listen along. But yeah.
Right on. Well, we appreciate the support.
We do. We definitely do. Preach the gospel.
As
Don't
a
stop.
fatty, do you have a favorite episode?
That's really hard because I don't know if there's ever been an episode that I didn't love. Yeah, I mean, I finished them all.
Ryan.
I mean, I especially love all the ones, hearing the people that I know come on the podcast. I don't know. I'm like a super fangirl. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I know her. I'm thinking of Angelique Witcher from Accent Decor, who is just a role model in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she is.
And well, so one of the earlier, I don't know, it was a while ago, but like the Armelini brothers, hearing all of the history of their family, and then like trucking the flowers around with actual blocks of ice to keep the flowers cold. I thought that was amazing. Right. So I love it all because I love to hear everyone's story.
Well, we had to have you on, and I know that I'm going to get some slack for this because Mike really wanted to be on this episode, and he's going to get so mad at me.
Wait till he hears. You're in
So
trouble.
I'm going to apologize in advance, Mike, and I'll bring you some Dove chocolates. But please, I'm so sorry. We needed to have her on. She just came back from CAD, and we need to have her on.
It made perfect sense. We've been waiting for it.
So we need to know. We need to know. The fatties are very curious. How did Edwin behave at CAD?
It's funny because Mimi at Next Gen was like telling everyone, she's like, oh my gosh, Edwin is coming. Like, you have to look out for him. And I don't know anything about Edwin. I'm expecting this like little tiny, like young guy. And so I'm looking around and I don't see any Edwin. And then all of a sudden there is this like fine looking man in a full suit, and I see his name tag and I'm like, what? Like, so maybe Mimi wanted us to look out for Edwin for a different reason. I don't know.
Exactly. I was worried that he was going to.
That's the reason she said. That was absolutely it.
I love Edwin. I do. And that is the thing, is that I was worried because, first of all, I get a phone call on Sunday from Edwin. Mimi, what am I doing? And I'm like, what do you mean, what are you doing? I gave you all the information, Edwin. Here's the link. This is what you're doing. Okay. But
we went over this when we bought the tickets about months ago.
So,
we went through everything.
Just so we know,
every step.
Edwin is highly involved in local politics and also in politics in Dominican Republic. So, I mean, it's a perfect place.
His family has a lineage of politics.
And so I think it was a great choice. However, he's also very vocal about politics. So that's why I was like, guys, watch out. And also he does have a fan club of women that follow him. So that's why I was like, just watch out for Edwin. Just take care of my Edwin.
I was doing the same thing. I was campaigning for Edwin at WFSA. And I'm like, Oscar, you're going, right? He goes, yes, of course I'm going to be there. And I was like, well, you're going to be headlining with the Florida group, right? Yes. Yeah. And this is not, okay, you must make sure that Edwin stays next to you.
And I basically did that. And I stalked him online because I also told him to send me pictures and stuff so we could put on social. Not one single picture. Not one single picture. You sent his picture, and then I was screenshotting him in the background of other people's pictures. And I'm like, there's Edwin. He's alive.
His pictures would have been just awkward selfies where like the top of his head cropped off.
That would have been...
He takes the worst selfies.
That would have been fine. I don't care as long as I knew that he was okay. And
they have photographers, didn't they? Don't they usually have a photographer?
Yeah.
No, I called the morning of several times just to make sure he was all right. At one point, he was like, Fern, you didn't tell me it was a lot of walking.
It was a lot of walking. And I mean, that I don't really understand the behind the scenes, pardon me, on SAF of who organizes all of these schedules. But we had, I think, between 50 and 60 attendees, and we were going around in groups of, like, my group was just 2 of us, and every single group had 6, 7, I think one group even had 8 appointments. And so we were marching back and forth. And for people who haven't been to CAD, if you think about the United States Capitol building, it's kind of like in the middle, and on one side of the Capitol building is like all of the House of Representatives buildings, and I think there's like 3 or 4 in a row, and then the other side of the Capitol building, all of the Senate side. So it was about a 10 or 15-minute walk, and we had to go back and forth.
But it's not a 10 or 15-minute slow, calm walk.
No,
you are absolutely pressured. You got to get to your appointment, and you got to get there now.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people were saying like, whew, like I should have worn better shoes. And of course we're all trying to dress our best. So some questionable shoe choices in there to rethink.
I did receive a lot of pictures of my dear friend Marvin in his shamrock pants for St. Patrick's Day, and that made my day. Like, so many people were sending me different pictures, and I did see Christine send a picture. I said, hey girl, back off.
Back off, my
Back
man.
off, that's my man.
Sitting too close.
I wasn't skimming on your man, Mimi. I was just making sure that you could see how dapper he was.
But you did give me some info. How many CADs has he been to? CADs has he been to?
So they did like this thing, you know how they do like at weddings where it's like everybody stand up and the couples who've been married like 1 year sit down, or like 5 years sit down, or so they did that with attendees. And so they were like, have you been to CAD 5 years or more, or 10 years or more? So they're clicking off 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Do I keep counting by the fives? 37 years in a row, Marvin Burr.
That is commitment.
It's amazing. And actually, I had an opportunity to talk a lot with Kate Penn as well, because she is a resident of Virginia. And because I'm local to the district, I also went to some Virginia appointments with her. And I think it was actually her 35th
Wow.
CAD, which I don't really believe that she is old enough to have been coming to.
She started when there were no child labor laws. She was like 5.
No, she doesn't age. I did yoga with her at the Women in Flowers yoga session, and she was one in the front and super freaking on it. So I don't believe that she's been to that many either. And Marvin either. Marvin, I wouldn't put a day past 60 on him. Hello, I'm sure he was walking faster than most people.
He was in the group that had 8 appointments. So
see? God. That's my man. That's my man.
It's crazy when you get a lot of appointments
so
like that.
I'm gonna have
what was your overall
to
takeaway from CAD? How did you feel about the whole experience?
Oh, I mean, this experience was amazing. And I was also there. So this is my first year on the SAF Retail Council.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's so exciting. It's an elected position and a volunteer position, and it's a 3-year commitment. So this was my first year out of 3, and so actually for about a day and a half, we had meetings with our council, and we also had task force meetings. I'm on the future task force, which is really exciting, and then had a whole session on trends and challenges in the floral industry. So where I feel like when I come back from a next gen or a convention, I have like notes upon notes of things I want to implement in my shop or things I want to change. But coming back from this event, it's bigger thinking, like what is actually going on with this industry now? Where is this industry going? How does, the politics in the current administration affect what's going on in our floral industry? So it's just really big picture thinking, and it's like kind of with the smartest, most committed people in our industry. So it's just like a super meeting of the minds, and it was amazing.
Well said. Very well said. That is probably a ridiculously honest description of what you're doing there.
Yeah.
You know, when I went, it's the same thing. Number one, I think it's amazing that a regular person, never in my mind that I ever consider politics, right? But it's amazing that as a regular person, just part of a really small but mighty industry.
Mighty. What was Edwin saying? 68? What?
$68 billion floral industry.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That is crazy. Miami is almost $2 billion of it alone. And that's just imports. But it's amazing that as a normal person, you can be part of the democratic process and you get to meet with, you know, most people don't meet with the senators. You meet with the assistants and the people who actually talk to the senator and tell them what to do. You meet with those people, but man, is it cool. And then you go into the offices and then you know the people that have been there for a long time because they have this really antique, old school, but has so much history office. Like, yeah, this office
What's
used
the
to be
Nicolas Cage movie? The one with the
National Treasure?
National Treasure. I feel like that's what I was also worried about. Is Edwin going to steal like some sort of national treasure?
Edwin tries walking out with the Declaration of Independence. I'm taking this back for the people.
So that's awesome. I think I must have, everybody that posted pictures or anything from CAD, I made sure to say thank you because as somebody who, I think this is something that we have to continue. SAF's advocacy on the Hill is super important.
Agreed.
Our voices have to be heard. And like you said, I feel like everybody that went, I respect and I just admire the fact that you guys volunteer your time for this because it really is something that has to be done. And
it's usually a cold day out there. It's, you know, It's still spring. I mean,
some people don't get to go out and party. They have to go to sleep early and practice their talks. So it's not like
I was going to say the night before we went to the Hill, Aaron, Bruno, and I, we went to bed. I think it was like 6:55 or maybe 7 p.m. on the dot. We had finished the dinner reception and we're like, let's call it a night because we were down for breakfast at 7 a.m. the next morning and then heading straight over to shop.
Again, the smartest people in our industry. Making sure that you're not going to be hungover. That's good. That's good.
Yes.
So I'm sure, Edwin shared with us, there was talks about tariffs. There was talks about labor. There was a bunch of stuff. So these are things that are really important for our industry right now.
Did you feel your message was well welcomed?
I'm like a serial optimist and
I like
looking for the positive aspects of everything. And one, I was with Cameron Hardesty, and if you have not met her, she
Poppies,
founder of Poppy. Yes. Okay. So she is based in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I live in Annapolis, Maryland. So we were partnered up to go to our Maryland and Virginia appointments all day. And I mean, if you ask the two of us, we killed it. We were awesome. Because of her business, I mean, she has been to Colombia and Ecuador. She has visited a lot of the farms. She is, really intimately involved more with their operations and the importing process. And that's really like directly more intimate to how her business model works. And then being able to talk about the retail side. So one, I don't know. I feel like the two of us together sounded our most intelligent. So
that's almost a full circle of the industry, so that's really important. And you have 30, how many employees do you have? 31?
31. She's actually out in the shop training on her first day today.
Wow.
What do you got? What do they do on the first day? What's your initiation?
Okay, well, their initiation actually comes before the first day because every person that's hired at Wildflower in any position has to come in for a tryout day. So during the interview process, it's either 4 or 5 hours. They come in and kind of work a couple positions around the shop, but several different people and kind of hear what's going on here and see how we work. So on that day, she actually came in and she helped with corsages for a father-daughter dance. And she was able to make corsages on her first day. She has an art background, and they were beautiful, and she loved it. So that's not a typical first day or tryout day, but a very successful one. Maybe part of the reason she was hired, aside from the fact that she is an amazing human. But most of the morning she has been greening vases. We use a lot of like fern trust, pre-made greens bouquets. Nice. So she just, chopping them, learning the dilution ratio of the chrysal into the water, into vases, and getting those all prepped up for designers. So that's kind of, an easy first task.
Nice. And congratulations, you just opened your third shop in Valentine's Day?
Badass.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Fern, you didn't ask for like my whole life story in a nutshell.
I know.
We haven't gotten there. We're just introducing.
We have a whole
There's a
sheet,
plan today.
and we're not following the sheet at all.
We're going through the sheet.
We're going through the sheet. I'm still on the first page. Don't judge us.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you want to hear about the third store before the first store. I mean,
let's go back.
I was going through my issues in all different orders. So, but yes, I did open a third store on Valentine's Day, and it was awesome.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Okay, now we need to hear it. Go for it, Fern.
So, hold on. We jumped ahead. We ran straight ahead to the third store. But let's talk about the first store. Let's go all the way back, Christine. Tell us, where did you come from? How did you get started?
There should be a warping sound.
Yeah.
Now.
That's from Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Joelle has no idea.
Oh, you gotta do Wayne. You gotta look that up.
Yeah, I get this.
By the way, fatties, Christine looks like she's 18.
Yes.
She looks like an 18-year-old that just came out of college. But we got some knowledge here. Let's go. Drop it on them.
Oh, thanks, Fern. It's like this is my like design room work persona. I'm in my my wildflower gear and my ponytail, and this is like, I'm young, I'm not the boss, I'm not the owner. Don't look at me and don't ask me any questions. Look. And then on the hill, I had my like full 100% business suit. I don't know, but it speaks to, I think, some different sides of my personality. But so I got into the floral industry in 2016. And when people ask me that, sometimes I give I say postpartum hormones made me do it. And so all the moms out there might understand that. But I think it was it's the most serendipitous accident of my life. Like, I did not plan it. It was kind of like my world exploded and I landed in the floral industry, and I will certainly never leave. But in 2016, we just moved back to Maryland. So my husband, Joey, and I met in California, and then we had lived in Maryland for a time. Then we moved to the Florida Keys.
Nice.
We moved in 2015 to Key Largo, and we were actually looking to buy a restaurant there, and we were going to stay there forever.
Key lime pie, Mrs. Max, is that the best one? No.
Oh, I don't.
They're all the same.
The best key lime pie actually is, Mimi, and you guys will know this, is the Hillstone key lime pie.
The French fries from Hillstone is the best too.
So yeah, I worked for Hillstone for 4.5 years. That was like early restaurant career. So wow. I worked for them all over the country, including Florida, but that was Palm Beach, not
nice
South Florida. But okay, so there was some restaurant life. And then in end of 2015, found out that we were pregnant with our first child and decided that we weren't ready to go full Keys cowboy off-grid life, and decided to come back to Maryland. What
a change.
I think that year was the biggest. It was like a vacation.
Because that's the vibe in Key Largo. It's almost it's island life at that point.
Life,
it's island life.
Yeah.
I say when I moved there, I'm like, do some people just choose to live in paradise and other people just choose not to? And
There's some that can't afford it, but if not, I'd be there.
No, but the weather is amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, you really have to have like a special job situation or be really committed to the hospitality or travel industry. You know, there's not like a lot of traditional employment situations based there. But got pregnant, we came back to Maryland, and then like a sad part of my story, my big sister, who had been battling cancer for 6 years, actually died 2 days after my daughter was born. So,
man, so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. So it's been 9 years now, or almost 9 years since we lost her, and that kind of I was saying earlier, my life exploded, and that was, you know, a really, I don't know, it's massive. It changed my whole family. Kind of like sets the stage for this whole story. So, I have my daughter, and now I'm grieving and sad, and Joey went back to work. My whole family was grieving. So all of the like traditional things that women hope that their families do for them when they have a newborn child, like none of that really happened. And I hadn't been planning to go back to work right away, but Joey was like, you can't be in this house. Like, you're going crazy. You're just sad. Like, you have to do something. And I was pretty sure also at that point that I wasn't like, I wanted to be with my baby. I wasn't like ready for a daycare situation. I didn't have family that could help out. So he asked me, and this is like excellent Joey, amazing husband, life partner behavior. He asked me if I could do anything in the whole world, what would I do? And my answer, it was not flowers, by the way. I wanted to have a retail store, like a cute little touristy gift shop, like Main Street, USA, like souvenir. And we live right by downtown Annapolis, and it's a really charming city if you haven't had a chance to visit.
That's Mimi's dream too.
Yeah.
Little tchotchke store.
Dream.
Me. It's so great. Don't do it anytime soon. But
don't worry, I'm not going to do it anytime soon.
So I was looking for a store, and I'm like, I'm going to find a place for lease. I will take my dog, I will take my baby, and I will just go and be like a shop mistress. I met this business broker, and he had a gift shop for sale, but he's like, it's also a florist, but it's a gift shop, so we should go check it out. I'm like, okay. At this point, my daughter's only like 2 months old, so I sent Joey to scope it out, and he came home and he's like, no, like, this is not for you. And he brought me flowers. I think it was like the $12.95 special of the day, and I still I can see it. It was like a red mini carn and like a yellow astro and maybe a stem of orange lilies, and it was wrapped in like that really printed cellophane, and it was not the most inspiring wrap of flowers I ever saw. He's like, no. He's like, it's an old lady store, just old ladies work there. Like, this is just not a choice. So that kind of like fell off the docket for a time. But I couldn't stop thinking about this shop, and I hadn't been there myself. So I got to thinking like, oh, if it's kind of this like regular sort of mediocre flower shop, but it's been in business for 40 years, like how good could it be if I, came in and like refreshed everything and gave it my best. So we scheduled a day to go and see the shop and meet the owner. And as soon as I walked in, I'm like, this is it. I can see the whole thing. This is going to be my store. So December 1st.
What was it that sold you on it so quickly?
Oh, I don't know. It's not like anything jumped out. It's just sometimes feeling, and intuition.
You hadn't seen the store yet. The store was still calling you, right? You said it dropped off, but it was still on your mind. It
wouldn't let me go. Yeah, it was still the universe was still knocking at my door.
Had you seen other options, and this one was just the one you hadn't seen, or this was really the only option?
No, I mean the other options were like leasing a vacant space. Like I wasn't really looking for businesses for sale because I got this baby and this dog, and I had this very specific thing I was trying to do. So I saw it and I knew it's kind of like when we bought our house and we were like, you're going and you're looking at all these houses and then you just go to your house and you're like, oh,
It's got good bones. That's what everybody says, right? It's got good bones.
That's realtor talk.
Yeah, you got possibilities, and you're a change agent. You knew what to do, right?
Yeah. So December 1st, 2016 was my first day of ownership of that shop. 3 employees worked there that stayed on after I bought the business. And I mean, that's the genesis of the story. I accidentally became a florist. And the owner asked me if I had ever done anything with flowers before. She's like, "Are you even interested in flowers? Do you know anything about flowers? Can you name one flower?" And I was like, I worked in this restaurant. I understand perishability and inventory management. And I did my own wedding flowers, which I did when we got married. She's like, "That's it."
Shout out to who? Who did you do your wedding flowers with?
Oh, well, this is another full circle. Actually, I ordered my flowers from 50flowers.com
Crazy. Yeah.
for my wedding back in 2014.
Love that.
Awesome.
And then I had no idea that one day I would actually meet owner Lisa Roger.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
So-
I love that story.
so that's how it all started. And then I kind of liken it to a snowball, rolling down a hill. It was just a little tiny thing, and it started rolling down the hill, and now it's just fast moving, crazy, massive.
Did anybody else besides Joey get involved from your family in the business as well? Did you bring on any other family members during this time?
Well, so my mom, who actually, again, was grieving the loss of her daughter, actually started coming in and a couple mornings a week and helping me clean, because this had been a florist for over 30 years. Old building.
Did the employees stay on with you? The older ladies?
3 of them stayed on with me. 1 designer, 1 salesperson, and 1 kind of flower processor delivery employee stayed on with me. So my mom started coming to help me clean up, and I thought for a time that was what made this whole thing worth it. I'm like, oh, this is why I'm supposed to be back here, and this is why I'm supposed to have this business, because this is going to bring my mom back from her grieving my sister. And it did for a time. It wasn't that's not a long part of the story, but I do think it helped her, and it was very cathartic.
Maybe for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure, being able to be together. And I had, there was a room there that was just all storage that we ended up gutting, cleaning, ripping up the carpet, and made into a baby room for my daughter Kaya.
Nice.
Yeah, so we had a little crib mattress and toys and everything. So it's kind of home base, because she came with
needs daycare.
Yeah, she came with me to work every day until she was 2.5.
Wow.
Every day. Which I don't know. I don't know how I survived that. I couldn't do it.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, how fast is the gift shop still part of it? Was it still an important part of it, or did it kind of turn into mostly a flower shop?
Yeah. So it kind of rolled from there. So the first year was kind of just learning the business, but about a year in, I started bringing in some other gift lines, and I think that the business broker's definition of gift shop was a little bit generous. It was mostly I call them the holies, the kind of things that you buy in florist shops for funerals, so the angels, the Jesus, and the Blessed Mother, and those are all really important, but not necessarily you don't really want it to look like a maybe religious bookstore when you walk in. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of streamlined that inventory and started bringing in some more modern gift lines and local lines. We have a chocolate company here in Baltimore that's amazing, so introduced that, and Annapolis Candle Company, which is local and actually sells now all over the country. Started bringing these local lines and sprucing up the store, and that kind of rolled for about 2 years, and then we were approaching 2019. And I had my eye on this additional space for lease, which would eventually become the second store. and it was right downstairs from our pediatrician office. And if
did you feel like you needed a second location at that point, or was it just a feeling again?
Feeling again, this is the intuition, and when you have a new baby, you go to the doctor's office like very frequently, like quite all the time. And I was going to this pediatrician, and it was kind of closer to my home. The original store is about 25 or 30 minutes from where I lived.
That explains it. I ate a lot of pizza because my kid's pediatrician was next to a pizza shop. That's probably why I gained so much weight.
That is why. Yeah.
Man, that's smart. Next to the doctor's office, you got to put something delicious.
It's a flower shop. This is great. Okay, sorry. We get sidetracked.
Sorry, I got hungry. You said pizza.
It's okay, Fern. It's like flower candy, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, every time I'm going to the doctor's office, I'm just like walking by this huge 4-lease space, and I'm like, this particular center where our store is would be so perfect for a flower shop. And in this whole kind of, it's not like a highway, but this whole road that I would drive every day, 30 minutes to my other store and 30 minutes home, like there are no other like good floral businesses along this whole corridor, and
nice.
I just felt like it would serve the area and it would be perfect for this spot. So we kind of we were thinking about that, and then this is also the time that we kind of conceived the Wildflower brand. So we didn't open with that brand. We opened with the existing brand.
What was the old name? Tell me.
It was the Petal Pusher, which is so cute.
Mm-hmm.
But a few miles away from that, and in between the original store and the new location, there was a bike shop called Pedal Pushers. I was like, okay, you can't have for Google, you can't have the Pedal Pusher here and then 10 minutes south of that have Pedal Pusher the bike store, and then 10 more minutes of that have Pedal Pusher the florist again. Like people were already confused. So I felt like that wasn't going to work. And then Joey and I, he was a big part of developing this brand with me, because I just thought I can't say florist, but this florist could be so much more than what it was. And I felt like the brand was kind of cutesy and overly feminine and like a lot of pink and pastel. And when I was thinking about the people coming in, I'm like, does this really represent our clientele? Are people really comfortable coming into this environment and buying flowers? Are men comfortable coming here? And another thing about the original location is our design room and flower cooler were also in the basement. So customers couldn't really see the fresh flowers or the design.
No action.
No, there was no action. And I'm like, we need action. And that's kind of how the Wildflower brand came about. And a key part of it, we say like pulling back the curtain and showing people what goes on behind the scenes. So our design in all of our shops is very open kitchen style. So the designers are out in the middle of the floor. The flowers are right there in front of everyone. So it, instead of people coming in and saying like, oh yeah, like I don't know what these flowers are called, or I don't know how to ask for what I like, people can just, we just say like, you don't have to know what it is. Just point to the ones that you think look pretty and we'll go from there. So,
and you have your stem bar.
Yeah, that's the whole thing now. So I was out on the design floor this morning helping like this cute little young couple came in. My guidance is off. I don't know. They were like 19 or 20 and getting flowers for her mom. And
I hate that now. I can't tell how old people are anymore. Like, you're how old?
It's because we're old.
Yeah.
It's because we're old.
It's happening. Yeah.
It's us. It's not that kids just look older now. Like
no, they look younger. Like
no, we are. We have a warped sense because we think we're still young.
Yeah,
so then,
hold on, time out. I am still young. Hello.
Okay. You're only as old as you feel.
Joelle's looking at all of us like you're all old. So the flower, so her stem bar, you can go up and pick, and then they make. That's the beginning of the arrangement. I think that's such a cool model.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I do think a lot of
I picked
other
these flowers out for you purposely. Yeah. Love that.
Oh, well, it's so personal, Fern.
I do that with
And
Barbie. I'm like, Barbs, I walked by these and it just stopped me in my tracks and I had to bring them home to you.
that is so
I
sweet.
took the most beautiful
Nice.
tulips home. It was
I
fantastic.
saw that yesterday. They
Yeah,
were
it worked.
huge.
It worked out. The plan was perfect.
What did you do?
Yeah, and I think, well, it's about like picking out the thing that speaks to you, right?
Yeah.
Like, like all flowers are beautiful, but even the whole like, what's your favorite flower thing? And I have an answer, but it kind of changes every day. It's
Mm-hmm.
what mood are you in? What color are you feeling today? Are you happy? Are you needing like a pick me up? So to just be able to look at it all in one spot, I do think it really like speaks to people and especially our customers, just letting them be a part of the whole experience, which I think is really important as we think about retail moving forward and being able to have amazing experiences inside of retail stores because you can buy everything online. So I always think like why, like what would cause someone to walk into my shop today?
Right.
And it has
No,
to.
that's the right thought. That's the right. What's going to make them walk in and that experience, the flower bar, that connection that you build, that you start the memories from the moment they walked in. Love that.
Yeah, there's for sure certain industries that are going to be harder to adjust to the online shopping world that we're moving towards. I imagine a walk-in florist will be one of those.
Well, one of the things, I was thinking about when we were talking about SAF and CAD and the retail council meeting and just like the change that's coming, right? Like everything is changing. Ryan, you're like the AI expert over there, especially. So, AI is changing the way we do business. When we think about 10 or 20 years ago, like social media is changing the way we see things. Shopping online, like every single thing is changing. So I think as retail florists, we like absolutely have to be thinking about changing.
Yeah.
There's nothing is going to be the same 5 years from now or 10 years from now. And so we can't be thinking about our businesses as just like, oh, we just gotta like.
Isn't it crazy how change has like sped up? Like things just continue to change faster and faster. And it's like this nonstop train that we can't get off now. So you're right. It's finding a way to keep moving with the train so that the train doesn't pass you by.
Yeah. Because it will. And if I feel like myself and my own retail business, right? If I'm not staying ahead of it, then someone else is just going to come along and do it. So
where are you finding like inspiration for creativity, for business? And like, how are you planning for this?
So I feel like a sponge. I mean, first, like coming off of SAF this week, like Oscar Fernandez, who has such a way about saying things, but he talks all the time about like what SAF has meant to him over the course of his career and like jumping in the pool and just getting yourself involved. And so being around, I try to put myself in every room with the smartest people that I can find that will let me in and listen and talk. So, I'm just trying to be a sponge in all of these opportunities. I have to go out and meet other florists in all segments of the industry. I do like a reasonable amount, Instagram scrolling. It's not doom scrolling. It's inspiration gathering.
There you go. Rebrand it.
I like it.
Yeah.
She's a hunter.
And also like my whole team that works here is, I mean, we're all ages, but young. I mean, there are a lot of young people that work here and even
Congratulations. It's tough to get youth in the industry because it's a hard working industry. I love it.
Yeah. Well, Nicole, who's like, I call her my work wife, and I don't know if you've met her, Nicole Bagneau. And she's a few years younger than I am. Her age still starts with 3. And she like consumes content differently on social, particularly in the plant world. She like nerds out on all these like plant live sales. And so like she's really on the pulse of that. And so listening to her, like, what she's telling me And it's fun. Sometimes we'll shop for things and we kind of have like a little sister banter of, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't think we should sell that. And she's like, no, like this is what's buying. This is what's trending. And then I'll listen to her and frequently she proves to be right.
Nice.
Sounds like a relationship I have over here. I don't like to say it, but a lot of times Joelle's right about certain things.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, leaning on our team and I don't know. I have the best team of people that work here. It's amazing. Like, so just, yeah, like listening to them, like, and they are all so passionate about this industry, about retail, about the flowers, about our brand and working here. And so they're coming to me with ideas all the time.
That's awesome.
We also have yeah, it is awesome. We also use Slack in our company.
Nice.
I mean, we are chatting on Slack all day long, every day, sometimes after hours. And so people are putting like every time, oh, a customer came in and was looking for this or was interested in that or, like this thing or told me about that. So I'm kind of getting that. I have like an ear on the ground for the team.
Smart.
For that as well.
Very nice. They're getting rid of a lot of us in Miami. We use Skype. We chat on Skype, and they're getting rid of Skype, and I'm very upset.
We're not getting rid of it.
Microsoft is getting rid of it
because the real world uses Teams
And WhatsApp.
Yeah, we got so many other options, and you should see how amazing Teams is. We use Teams in marketing, and it works for us, and it's got to work for JetFresh because I just told Jimmy today. I'm like, Jimmy, did you send me that information? He's like, yeah. I'm like, where? On Teams. Well, of course I'm not having my phone in my hand because then it looks like I'm just doom scrolling. So I said, I thought we agreed we're going to use Teams.
Yes, when they close Skype May 1st.
So I got a good question. What does your young, your ear on the ground think about the Choco Roses? Because the VIP, because I saw your amazing story where you took it to the candy shop, which makes total sense, like to the chocolate shop.
Yeah, it's like a dessert, bakery, coffee shop.
Talk about thinking out the box. I love that.
I don't know. I was like, what? I was like, what? Where am I going to take these? And it was right there. So, it's like a mixed reaction. I think people are into it. I did have this one lady like full on walk in and be like, that is ugly. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, my mom told me if you didn't have anything nice to say to, okay.
Keep it to yourself.
I did ask her what she thought of it, so she told me. So yeah, it's fine. So, look, like it's not for everybody, like, but nothing is for everybody. And, I was thinking about this and this whole, like, I hate when hate is not the right word because I don't hate anything, but sometimes I meet these other retail florists and they say things like, oh, my customers like would never buy that, or like my customers wouldn't like that at all. I'm like, well, like based on what, like, yes, like, them, but it's also like, okay, your customers today don't want to buy that, but what about your new customers that you're trying to get?
That's it, girl.
So we have to, again, everything is changing and we have to be on the pulse of what's going on. And I can say that those roses, so we took them to the bakery. We typically, when we take flowers to the world, bring it back after a week because we don't want the flower to suffer and look bad with our name on it. So we brought it back and put it on our counter. It wasn't until day 15 that one of those roses lost a head.
Damn.
So like 15 days, like at, room temperature or warmer. I mean, they were in a bake. The vase life potential there. And I mean, people want that all the time. Like people say, I want long-lasting flowers. I'm like, well, this is beautiful. It looks like a rose in the last weeks.
I had to say thank you for defending us online too, because you did say, or your team wrote like, no, it's not for everybody. Okay. But yeah, I just think that's amazing that you're moving with.
Love it.
moving forward. Like I love that. You can't think that your customers of tomorrow are going to want the same things that your customers of today want.
Not just that, even the same people that are your customers today, people evolve, people change, people's style changes, what people get into constantly changes. The only thing that doesn't change is your music taste. Everything else changes.
That changes too.
Your music taste? Not really.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not really. Everybody turns into
That's how country became so popular. Not everybody was into country. Now it's the number one.
Now I'm a podcast
You think it's number
listener.
one?
It seems like it.
I don't look
that and Bad Bunny.
I never thought the day would come where I wasn't searching for new music, and I have surprised myself because now I just have my playlist and podcasts, and that's it. And
I listen to my old school, my 90s and early 2000s hip hop, and and don't get me wrong, I like Frank Sinatra. I absolutely listen.
Wait till
to
Logan starts
everything.
listening to stuff that you listened to back then, and you're like, "That's mine. What do you know about that?" The other day, my kids, their friend put on their whatever the thing that you put up with, like the little notes, and he put up the Cure. I go, "What the hell do you know about the Cure? You're like 14."
Emo.
I'm like, what?
So the other day, I'm at the barbershop with Logan. This is Saturday. We're at the barbershop, and I go to this super Cuban barbershop. Like, all the guys are Cuban. It's hilarious. Yes, absolutely. It's hilarious.
What makes it so Cuban?
It's no. They're literally all Cuban from Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
Que vuelta, and it's just Cuban chime. It's hilarious. I love it. So we're in there and they're playing music and Bad Bunny's playing and Logan's there on his tablet while I'm getting my beard shaped and everything, and he starts singing the song.
Sure.
And the barbers let him, like everyone noticed, like everyone in the
They all stop.
Everyone stopped cutting hair because here's this 6-year-old and he's going line for line on this Bad Bunny song, and it's not a new one, it's an old one. And then Logan looks up and all the barbers go, "Hey!"
That's awesome.
And it was just a hilarious moment. But it's funny when kids catch on to your songs.
Oh yeah,
love that.
Yeah. Well, Mimi, I kind of call it, that's one of your now not you. I'm saying, I know I'm getting old because like you make me feel to talk radio and podcasts and like, oh, it's like kind of, self-cringe.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the merch. They got good merch.
Oh
over there.
yeah.
Hold on, we didn't finish the story. We didn't even get to store number 3 before we get to merch. Store number 2.
Oh.
When did you open store number 2?
Oh, we opened store number 2 November of 2019.
Oh,
You took
right
the pediatrician
before, right
spot.
before
Yeah.
COVID.
Right before COVID. Yeah. And so I was pregnant with my son when I opened that store. So it was like we were doing like a 1-to-1 flower shop to baby ratio.
Yeah, I see that.
Couple years.
Did your husband freak out?
Didn't want to make
you
it
got
easier on
pregnant with
yourself.
number 3?
Yeah, don't ask. Don't tell him. Yeah.
Hold on, let's
Oh
keep
no,
going.
we are like so fully committed, loving, all in parents of 2 children. But for both of us, like we're good. Like our
Don't
Guenther
let them
unit,
outnumber you. That's right.
Yeah, we're good. So, but not done making flower shop children.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I meant. Like when you decided to go for shop number 3, was your husband like,
Are you trying
pregnant?
to tell me something?
Are you trying to tell me
Oh,
something?
no, we're like super clear on that going in. No, I mean, maybe it was that kind of like little, itchy maternal, like, ooh, I need a little
someone right around here.
shop, but not another person, but another shop.
Love it.
So we have been looking for a few years for like a perfect location 3. There's again another market a little bit to the west of our main store where I just feel like for how nice of an area it is that there were no florists or flower shops located there. So we've looked and found nothing. And then this shop that I actually follow on Instagram has the perfect location announced on Christmas Eve that they were retired and closing the doors, like effective immediately, Christmas Eve 2024. So I screenshotted it and sent it to Joey. I'm like, call the landlord like the day after Christmas and find out what's going on. And at first they had said that the nail salon next door was already committed to take over the space and expand. And so that was a bummer. But about a week after that, they called Joey and they said, you're never going to believe this, but the nail salon is no longer expanding. And if you are interested in the space, it's yours.
Christmas was expensive for the nail salon. They changed their mind.
Well, they're expanding another location down near where I live in Annapolis. So,
Now
they were
they're
feeling.
coming
But that's
after you.
another great place to have a flower shop next to a nail salon. That's perfect.
Oh, we are sandwiched right in between a nail salon and a pet store.
Oh,
Fantastic.
And we actually share a parking lot with the grocery store. And Aaron Bruno was the first one who told me that they have a store that's right next to a Trader Joe's. And actually, it's a really good thing for them, a good adjacency. And I trust everything that Aaron says
too.
pretty much. So and we share a parking lot with the grocery store. And there's also then like some restaurants and a day spa and a Panera, and it's the perfect location. And it came with an amazing cooler, a display cooler, had all the plumbing fixtures. So it was like pretty close to plug and play. So this is now the middle of January, and I told Joey, I'm like, Joey, there's been a flower shop there for years, and they don't know it's closed. Like, people are going to show up on Valentine's Day and they're going to want flowers, and I can't have them showing up here and seeing that the flower shop is closed, because then they're not going to come back. They're just be like, that place closed. Find a new place to buy flowers. So I got it in my mind that we had to be open by Valentine's Day. So he sometimes encourages me to like be calm and slow down and be reasonable. But sometimes when someone has an idea, there's no other way. So I was getting everything ready in the wings, and I was telling him, I'm like, if I have to set up a folding table on the curb, I will be out there with flowers. But we inked the lease on February 7th, and we were there with flowers. I don't know if it can be done any faster than that, but we did it.
awesome.
That's awesome.
That is
Congratulations.
awesome.
Congratulations. That's a great story. Love that.
So,
I would love to hear like florist opinions on what like the perfect shopping center lineup would be. Like if we get that like as a like an audience question, like a fan question.
Man, that'd be great to do like a pyramid, like know.
Like what's
the
perfect
best,
Set it up yourself.
What's
your
shopping
perfect
center?
next door? Yeah.
There you go, fatties. That's a great
That's a good
challenge,
question.
too.
What,
Fatties.
like 6
That's a good
buildings,
question.
6 shops, 8 shops? What's the normal?
Fatties, email us
6?
and let us know what's your
No,
ideal.
we should put one of those. We should put a post out.
A
We'll do
post.
both.
Put a post.
We'll do
Let's
both.
challenge the fatties to tell us.
So I really want you to come to Fresh Fest, but I have to ask you about
Fresh Fest.
Jess Fest.
Just fast.
Can you share with us a little bit about that?
I can. Unfortunately, my family cancer story doesn't really end with my sister. A couple
Sorry
years
to
after
hear that.
that, I know it's the worst. So my brother and I, we are 14 years apart in age. He's older than me. And so his oldest daughter, my niece, Jess, and I are 10 years apart. So, we were closer in age. And I mean, I don't know, from the time she was about like 12 or 13, it was kind of like, oh, we can hang out now,
Yeah.
and I mean, I watched her grow up, and, she called me her sister aunt because my aunt just doesn't like define the relationship for people. So, Jess was diagnosed with breast cancer, and we lost her. It's been February 28th was 3 years since she passed.
I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
So she was 30 years old, like a light in this world. And she had her cancer battle for over 4 years. And during that time, she kind of told her whole story on social media, and sorry, it's hard to talk about, but she says like that she really discovered who she was and what her life's purpose was, inside of her cancer, that it made her the strongest version of herself that she could imagine.
Wow.
And we now know that like people all over the world have seen her videos. And to try and like sum up the story, she wrote like she had a long time to process and understand her illness. And so she wrote and she has a husband, John, he'll be 40 next month, but she left her dying wishes with John, and one of them was to have an annual event that would continue to share her story, and it would raise money for metastatic cancer.
Wow.
And if depending on how familiar you are, a lot of breast cancer research goes into early stage breast cancer, like the Susan G. Komen Foundation, which is the one that most people know. And all of that money goes into research for curable cancers, early stage cancer. But there is very little funding out there that is for stage 4 metastatic cancer. And that is what she was advocating, because people with advanced stage cancer are the people that die. So we had this Jess Fest now. We've had had 2 since her passing in her honor, and the 3rd one is scheduled for the first weekend in October this year. The first year we held it in July, and we kind of sweated to death out there in the fields. But there's like a crew of us. Her best friend actually works for my company now, so we're like also united. So her best friend, her husband, her parents, her in-laws, myself, kind of have this group that planned the first event, and then we teamed up with a local not-for-profit called Respite Retreats that actually played a big part in kind of Jess's advocacy in the last year or 2 of her life. And so they partnered with us for our last event last year. And both of these events have raised upwards of $20,000 for.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And Wildflower has sponsored both of these events. We've gone out and sold plants and flowers there. And actually, our wholesalers and local farmers have donated a lot of product to help make this possible. So I want to give a shout out to DV Flora Wholesale, who has sponsored us with product the past couple of years, Winter's Farm Floral, and Jet Fresh actually did the same thing for a different event for a different cause. But I'm confident that you guys would be a part of Jets Fest in October. So by you guys
definitely
in that product donation with like everybody chipping in a little bit, then we go out, sell that product, and donate. We've donated 100%.
Do you sell your merch? Because I will buy all of that for Just Fresh. Like I will buy the flower dealer stuff, all of that. Do you guys get people thinking you're selling other flowers besides just the regular flowers? I mean,
yeah, it always gets a response from people, so I love that. And I mean, that's the whole point. It kind of catches attention. I also need to give my husband Joey full credit for the local flower dealer shirts. We kind of have a joke, like he'll go and try to do something or make some merch or design it, and then he's always waiting on me because I want to like change it or tweak it or change the font or change the spacing. And then so when the flower dealer shirt happened, he just did it without me and without my permission. But it was a total hit.
Now I gotta order one. Mimi, let's order one.
I know. I'm ordering hats and shirts.
Well, I really liked at where was it? At Next Gen, where you had the flower dealer and the flower addict.
No, we have to do a collab because Cam had the flower dealer hat on. No, the flower addict. And I took the one and I took off yours and I gave it to Mike. I said, Mike, stand next to Cam. And it was like, this is the perfect relationship. Love it. The dealer and the addict.
Yeah, I love it. So the flower dealer hat is active and available on our website right now, wildflowermd.com.
On it.
The shirts, not yet, but we should. We have like hand sold them to a couple people in the store, but we definitely want to keep going with the line. I have to say, we have always admired the Jet Fresh merch. And Ryan, the florist hat that you gave me at Next Gen, Joey has worn that hat almost every
Nice.
single day.
Love
Awesome.
that.
Fern's
said-
currently wearing the new one. Do you see it? It says, "Need money for flowers," with all the different currencies.
Need money for
Love that.
flowers. I love this hat.
It's good. It's a good hat.
Well, do we have time for questions?
Yeah. Was there anything else you needed to cover?
Well, I don't know. There's so much more. I could sit here and talk to Christine. Like every time she's talking to Sally, or every time I see Christine at a show, I always want to just you radiate that awesome energy, and
She really
and now
does.
I know more about you, and it's just like I just can't wait to continue celebrating all the successes and everything you're doing in the industry.
And supporting your merch store.
I'm on it. Where do we look? Because I'm looking. It says, where would I find the gifts?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, gifts, apparel.
I see it. I find it. I got it.
Okay. I love that. Well, thank you, Mimi. I could also talk to you all day and all of you guys. Now, we've exchanged digits, so
It's
call me
on.
anytime,
Yeah,
girl.
it's on.
And maybe in another 50 episodes or so, I would like to come back because
Oh yeah.
you did not. Yeah, I want to talk about Mike. That's every episode of Mike might be my favorite.
Oh, he's gonna kill me, you guys. I'm really nervous about him coming back and me telling him like,
Don't
I don't
worry,
even
we
know
can
what to
do
You guys have
another
to-
episode, another moment.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be able to come down in June for Fresh Fest? Fresh Fest.
My personal attendance is currently undecided, but Malia has said that she would trade SAF for Fresh Fest. So I'm like,
Nice.
okay.
Oh,
I
man.
like that, Malia.
That's commitment.
That's
worry.
I respect
pressure.
her.
That's
I'll take
pressure,
care.
Ryan.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not worried about the
Ryan,
pressure.
are we giving out any more updates on Fresh Fest? No.
Stay tuned to our social media. Everything is going to be announced very soon.
Oh shit.
It's all happening. It's all coming.
We'll have someone there to rep Wildflower for sure.
Love that.
We appreciate
that.
that. We appreciate that for sure.
I'll trade you shirt for shirt.
Just buy a
Oh.
shirt, man. It'll be
Logo
cheap.
She doesn't have it online.
Okay.
God, what's wrong with you? All
I got you, Fern. I got you.
right.
Okay, cool. Let's do the questions then.
Okay.
All right. At the moment, what is your favorite flower?
My all-time favorite flower is the daffodil, which is blooming everywhere in Maryland outside, and that
That's
means
Mimi's.
spring is here.
That's
That
Mimi's
is
favorite.
it. Yes, the teacup. It makes spring so much better, right?
Like here, a new season, a new chance to do it all over again.
She named her son after that flower.
Dill pickle. My Dylan.
What is the best sandwich?
Oh, Italian cold cut with hot peppers for sure.
Oh yeah.
Most overrated flower.
I'm gonna say roses for overrated and underrated.
Okay.
Mm.
Good answer.
Why for both?
Because like underrated one is like today's consumers do not understand like how amazing roses are in 2025 and
And all
beyond.
the looks, the
Look at the face, like,
colors,
everyone-
the shades, the garden likes, the garden roses, so the fragrance that you have in some. I mean, come on. I mean, you can't ask for a more versatile line of flower.
Yeah, and I mean, people who complain about roses not lasting, I'm like, no, like roses, they last forever now, like a long
I
time.
think red roses are overrated just because people ask just for red. But there's so many more colors.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Just like, oh, like I want roses because I think that's like the best thing, and not really understanding that there's, a whole world of amazing choices
There's
out there.
daffodils out there.
They're only right now, only in March. Don't ask next month. Yeah.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Well, my easy answer is to cure cancer.
That's a good answer.
That's a great answer.
Pick a TV or movie character to have lunch with.
Well, mine's kind of a historical figure, and
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
Walt Disney. I would love
Oh.
just meet him, and like my wish is to be able to like think as big and as grand
Yeah.
like him.
That's
Early
a
young
great
young
answer.
version, like an early version, or like an older wise that had done it already.
I will. Any of them. I will.
Baby Walt.
Just
Any of
give
them, I
me a
don't
Walt.
Yeah, if he's still frozen, in
Oh.
spaceship or whatever, the Walt Disney clone. I don't know. I'll meet with like AI Walt Disney. I don't know.
Yeah. I bet they have him already
you imagine?
cloned somewhere.
It's like,
he's already cloned and like
Yeah.
Walt Disney is the character in the movie Idiocracy that gets frozen out and
yeah.
the world is stupider. And he comes out and this is what they've made of the world. And
Jeez, don't tell that to Walt. Let his cryogenic Walt be happy, please.
What's the scariest animal?
Oh, this one's hard, but maybe people.
Oh.
Best
I'm
answer
liking these
ever.
answers, yeah.
I don't know. I'm around them all the time.
She just hung out with Edwin.
yeah. Her mind has been swayed. Too funny. Great answer.
What kind of flowers do you want at your funeral?
Oh, just all the flowers. Anyone who thought to bring any sort of flower to celebrate me, I would be so honored. But just any flower. I love them all.
That's great. What is your go-to late night drunk food?
Well, I feel like I'm a few drinks and I have to go to bed. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. So I don't really make it to the eating step of late night drunk food, but probably I don't know, something fried, French fries.
Mm-hmm.
And could you suggest a future guest for the show?
Yeah. So have you guys had Cameron Hardesty from Poppy on the show?
No, she's on my list, but yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, tell her. Yes. And I mean, I talked to her, we spent all day, I talked to her about you guys and asked if she listened to the podcast. But she is very smart, very bright, very forward thinking. And, the industry needs to hear from her and the way that she's thinking about flowers and how we do business, for sure.
I keep getting it confused. Cameron Pappas and Cameron from Poppies. I keep getting confused.
I thought she was going to say Cameron. I really thought she was going to say Cameron, our Cameron.
Exactly.
And I was like, what do you mean?
I like how you said our Cameron.
He's
he
our
belongs
Cameron.
to
Cameron is our Cameron so much. Cameron really enjoyed you and my dad's squirting in the mouth bit.
Ew.
He found that entertaining here last week.
He is our Cameron.
I love Cameron. And Cameron is another badass who also opened up a flower shop during Valentine's too.
Yes.
You guys are so inspirational. It's for real.
Oh, well, thank you. No, I mean, we were talking about it. I saw him in Sarasota, Florida with the Gravity Free group in January. And we were both talking about it. And then by the time we saw each other at Next Gen, we had both done it. So it was.
Love it.
Keep being bold, man. You are a bad mother trucker.
Keep going. Don't stop.
I love it.
More flower shop babies. I can't
More
wait to hear
Wildflower.
about them.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we have no plans of slowing down the flower shop babies anytime soon. So stay tuned.
Love it. Love it.
Bravo.
So if someone wants to reach out to you, whether they want to talk about opening up a shop on, 7 days before Valentine's Day and signing the lease, or maybe they want to support Just Fest, or, maybe they just want, some help on getting things going, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah. Well, first, please follow us on Instagram. It's at Wildflower MD1. So MD like Maryland, not like medical doctor, but
I like both.
Yeah.
You guys
You
are
could
flower
play off
doctors.
of that. You definitely could
can
play
absolutely
off of that.
run a play.
Yeah,
yeah.
Flower
Okay. We'll work on the Dr. Flowers.
Get a doctor line going on the merch store. I could see it.
Or my email is Flower Momma, and that's MOMMA, Flower Momma at wildflowermd.com.
Love it. All right, fatties, there you go. Reach out. Christine, thank you so much for being on the episode today. Thank you for sharing and opening up with us. You are an inspiration. Keep going. We're watching you. We're going to get some merch right now in your merch store. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers, where we're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. Christine Guenther, our amazing guest, thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.